How do you make an anti-violence video game? This question has always seemed paradoxical to me because on one end, a big reason for playing a video game is the combat and the gameplay. So how can you condemn violence while at the same time selling it to me as entertainment? Not to mention anti-violence in a revenge story. Leading up to the release of The Last of Us Part 2, I had read many things about the brutality of the combat and the lengths Naughty Dog was willing to go to try to make the gameplay as realistic as possible. Enemies have names. They scream in agony when you down them. And the incredible facial animations nail home just how horrific this post-apocalyptic world has become. But this wasn't enough for me to really believe Naughty Dog cared about the themes of the story they were trying to sell. Because the truth of the matter is, the gameplay is so much fun.
For real. What do you think about that?
At some points, it can be difficult, sure.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
But I knew going into this game that the features Naughty Dog put in the game were going to run against the pure enjoyment I get from blowing dudes up with explosive arrows.
You're fucking next. Hear that? We got her! Down there! Mother!
So how do you do it? How do you make an anti-violence video game? How do you really make gamers uncomfortable, angry? Well, you do this.
Dad? Dad?
Oh, it's this bitch. I don't give it.
I'm not here to debate what you thought of the story or all the plot holes you think the game has or get into the flame war that is this game's story. What I'm here to say is this. Making gamers play as Abby was one of the only ways for The Last of Us Part 2 to truly mean its non-violent message. And props to Naughty Dog for having the guts to do it, to try it. And I can understand people who are angry, disappointed, sad, or maybe a mixture of all those things. But Naughty Dog wasn't oblivious that this choice was going to piss people off. I think it's designed to test the player, even anger them. My initial gut reaction was what? No, fuck that. I know what you're trying to do, and I don't want it. Because in a revenge story, I want this.
Last wish. I wish you had more time. Hey.
Not this.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Just noticed you two have been hanging out a lot. More so than usual.
Oh, God.
Bueno?
This.
Okay, my friend. So off to the next life for you. I guarantee you won't be lonely.
Definitely not this.
How long have you known?
I'm your dad. I see things. Like the way you both try really, really hard not to look at each other when you're around me.
I can't handle this.
And he makes you laugh.
That's because he's such an idiot.
But the game forces you to play as Abby. This is the real hard part of the game. This is the uncomfortable part. Not the enemies shouting names or the realistic gameplay. It's forcing you to see the humanity in your enemy. And if you didn't enjoy Abby's story, that's fine, but I think uniformly everyone who played this game had a resistance to it almost immediately. And that resistance is the point. Whether you ended up enjoying her story is completely subjective. But in my opinion, Abby's story has some of the best moments in the game, and her subplot with Lev and Yara is a standout.
Nothing is stopping us. Nothing is stopping us. Hang on! Abby, no, fuck! Raiders!
Burn in hell, you wretches!
Get away from us! Hang on, we're going through!
was painful hunting down Ellie as Abby, because Ellie is who I started this whole journey with, and I'll never forget that feeling and that pit in my stomach. Ellie and Abby's stories complement each other, and they share themes of loss, love, guilt, redemption, and I genuinely don't think I've ever had a final boss fight where I just wanted both sides to stop fighting. And if you hate The Last of Us 2, that's fine. I understand, and I'm not here to argue. But when the credits rolled, I was profoundly moved by what The Last of Us Part 2 did for me, and the lengths it went to show its themes. It went where it knew I didn't want it to go. And if you fall into the camp who loved the story, then I think you'll agree with me that The Last of Us Part 2 might be one of the best video games of all time. And if you hated the experience of playing as Abby,
And you wasted it.
that might have been the point.